I-66 inside the Beltway is a unique and challenging interstate corridor in Northern Virginia. The corridor already offers commuters many travel choices for their trip, but often traffic congestion, crowding, and unreliability impact these choices. The Commonwealth is advancing a project to move more people, enhance connectivity, improve travel reliability, and provide new travel options on I-66, from I-495, or the Capital Beltway, to U.S. Route 29 in Roslyn. Transform 66 inside the Beltway will convert all lanes into dynamically priced toll lanes during weekday rush hours between the Capital Beltway and Roslyn. Toll revenues will be reinvested into multimodal improvements that directly benefit the I-66 corridor. In the next few minutes, this video will provide a brief overview of existing conditions, background of the corridor, and key features of the project. Currently, only vehicles with 2 or more occupants, some clean fuel vehicles, and Dulles Airport users are permitted to travel eastbound along I-66 in the morning rush period and westbound along I-66 in the evening rush period. Taking a snapshot of the I-66 corridor today, 2 lanes in each direction experience traffic congestion during morning and evening rush hours. During these rush hour periods, traffic congestion in the corridor affects the reliability of car and bus trips in both directions, and also contributes to congestion on parallel and intersecting routes. Metrorail's orange and silver lines, portions of which run along I-66, often carry crowded trains during peak periods as they travel through Arlington County. WMATA forecasts that the average peak period railcar will experience overcrowding between East Falls Church and the DC border by the year 2030. Bus service is prevalent in the I-66 corridor along parallel routes. It includes commuter-oriented services originating in Loudoun, Prince William, and Fairfax counties, as well as a variety of local bus service. Many of these routes are well used, and buses are impacted heavily by traffic conditions in the corridor. Trails such as the Custis and Washington and Old Dominion trails are also busy, and their increasing use by bicyclists and pedestrians is creating pressure to expand and enhance parallel bike and pedestrian networks. Increasing capacity of I-66 by adding lanes is difficult. Narrow right-of-way, infrastructure such as the Lynn Street Tunnel in Roslyn, and retaining walls constrain the corridor east of Ballston. In addition to these constraints, traffic heading east on I-66 terminates at a traffic signal that is part of a complicated city street grid and limits the volume of traffic entering Washington, D.C. Recognizing that these constraints exist, changes proposed for I-66 inside the Beltway were identified through many years of cooperative study and planning with all of the jurisdictions and public along the corridor. Much has changed since I-66 opened inside the Beltway as a rush hour HOV4+ facility in 1982. Rush hour occupancy requirements were reduced to HOV3+ in 1983 and again reduced to HOV2+ in 1995. In 1994, legislation passed which permitted vehicles with clean special fuel license plates to use HOV lanes without meeting minimum occupancy requirements. In response to rising congestion along the I-66 corridor during HOV restricted hours, vehicles with these license plates issued from 2011 on are no longer permitted to travel on I-66 during restricted hours, unless they meet occupancy requirements. Even with this change, travel reliability in the corridor continues to decline. Understanding the current conditions in the corridor, several important studies have been undertaken by the Commonwealth. In 2009, the I-66 Transit Transportation Demand Management Study recommended a variety of service and infrastructure improvements. The 2012 Multimodal Study and a 2013 supplemental report looked at several alternatives for the corridor and developed a recommended package of improvements. The combination of these studies and their recommendations form the basis of the planned changes for Transform 66 inside the Beltway. Additionally, based on a decision by leaders of the Washington metropolitan area, by 2020, all vehicles will be required to have 3 or more passengers, HOV3+, to travel in the lanes for free, and the clean special fuel vehicle exemption will sunset, whether or not the Transform 66 project advances. In 2017, I-66 inside the Beltway will become a toll facility in both directions, during weekday morning and evening rush hours. Outside of designated periods, the lanes will be free to all traffic, like they are today. Toll rates will vary to keep traffic moving at a reliable speed. At locations where drivers can enter the toll lanes, which include all of the current I-66 entries and exits, the price of the toll will be displayed. The toll operations are supported by overhead toll readers on I-66 in 4 locations. The lanes will be free to vehicles with 3 or more passengers, on-duty law enforcement and emergency vehicles, and buses. All other vehicles will be able to use the lanes by paying the toll. The inside the Beltway rush hour toll lanes will connect with the region's growing network of more than 40 miles of express lanes, including the 495 Beltway express lanes and those planned for I-66 outside the Beltway. Tolling during rush hours and changes to high-occupancy vehicle requirements will help I-66 move more people reliably. Changes also will offer travelers new choices for their trip during rush hours. Single-occupant vehicles, who today are not permitted to use I-66 inside the Beltway during rush hours, will be able to. Reliability and speed will improve for buses, carpools, and van pools. The lanes will be free to all traffic during non-rush hours, including on weekends. Heavy trucks will still be prohibited. Toll revenues will be reinvested in multimodal improvements that directly benefit the I-66 corridor. These improvements can include increased bus service, better access to Metrorail stations, new bike and pedestrian access, and improvements on parallel roads. The Northern Virginia Transportation Commission, or NVTC, will manage the selection of multimodal improvements. Projects will be proposed by Northern Virginia jurisdictions and must benefit I-66 toll payers and help move more people through the corridor. The public will be invited to participate in the process through meetings and other outreach. The first group of improvements will be in place when tolling begins in 2017. It is expected that the multimodal program will support enhanced transit service, roadway improvements to improve traffic flow at choke points, education and incentive programs related to transportation choices, investments in major regional bikeways, and technologies to make the corridor work better. The effectiveness of improved management of the facility and the multimodal components on reducing congestion will be examined. If after 5 years, congestion is not addressed during the peak hours, the Commonwealth will initiate a study to widen I-66 from the Dulles Toll Road to the Glebe Road Fairfax Drive exit. In addition to multimodal improvement selection, a number of other efforts are underway. These efforts include a toll and revenue study describing how much tolls will cost, a traffic study describing how the I-66 tolls would affect traffic in the corridor and on parallel roads, and a design effort for toll infrastructure and signage. The Commonwealth's Transform 66 Inside the Beltway project is an investment in regional multimodal mobility and travel reliability for Northern Virginia. The combination of tolling, vehicle occupancy requirements, targeted infrastructure investments, and strategic multimodal system enhancements will help the I-66 corridor carry more people reliably, improve transit, and offer new choices for traveling along I-66 inside the Beltway. For more information on this important multimodal transportation initiative in Northern Virginia, and to learn how to participate, please visit transform66.org.